Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Yesterday I did a video on the new map, and you can see the map that we're still on there. It'll probably be on here for a while as I explore this game more and more. This is Global War 1936 to 1945, of course. So yesterday we just did the map and some of the features that were on the map. I did make one mistake though, and I knew it was a mistake at the time, but I couldn't find something in the new rules about it. I think that either I just couldn't find them, I overlooked them, or perhaps they forgot to put that in because everything is in flux right now, right? So this part along the top here, I called it marsh. That's not marsh, that's tundra. Now, because I couldn't find the rules on that, I don't know what tundra is going to be. I assume that you can get ski troops in there, but it might be impassable. I don't know. We'll find out though. Like, there's lots of time. We're not starting this game yet, right? We're just taking a quick look at the new rules. So the only marsh on the board are right here in Vipuri, and down here the Pripyat marshes, and that's always been there, right? So this is new marsh here, and then the rest, like I said, all along the top of the board in my video yesterday. That's not marsh. That is tundra. And I knew that. I was wondering why I was calling it marsh, but anyway, such is life. So, what we're going to do, like, I'm going to go through some of the new rules, but not today. Understand as I'm going through all of this stuff that things are still developing. So I'm just going to try to give you a bit of a heads up on some things, the way things are probably going to go and stuff like that. But these things are not written down in stone. Like, a new rule book hasn't been written yet, okay? So things could change is what I want you to understand. Like this thing here, this is the ship and facility chart. That's going to change. This is just one that we were using, right? And it's got some of the new units on it. And that's what I'm going to go through today, is the new units that I know are going to be in the game. There's, let me just count here. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I think, new units that are going to be added to this game here that weren't in the game before. Now, a lot of these things we were using, or some of us were using, like, say, light carriers. I was using light carriers before, but they weren't actually in the game in that, like, when you had your card for each nation and you flipped it over on the back and it had the costs and the movement and the attack and defense and everything, you wouldn't find light carriers on there. So this is stuff that's going to be added to that, so that it'll be part of the base game. It's not some kind of add-on you're getting. So these are new things for the base game. So that's what I'm going to go through today. And one of the reasons that I want to do this early is because I don't want you to think, and Doug doesn't want you to think, that it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to get all this stuff. Like here, I'll just give you a quick look at these. These are battle cruisers down here. I spent an arm and a left nut on these battle cruisers. My son gave me a bunch of money for Christmas, and so I hooked up with Shapeways there, and I got a ton of battle cruisers. These are just an example of them. It would be like hundreds of dollars to do that. You don't need to do that, and I'm going to get into that today, and it's going to be awesome that Doug is doing this. So what he's doing is he's got a new mold that he's making up. It's a new set of units, and this will be a set of units for Global War 1936. So included in that is a battle cruiser sculpt, you know, and well, actually, let's just rather than me listing them all off, let's just go through everything one by one. So first of all, what's in the game, and this is not in the mold, because these things are already, you can find them on in plastic on Historical Board Gaming site. I just put out an example of them here, but I'm pretty sure that you can get all colors and all nations in tank destroyers. And we did have a couple of tank destroyers in the game. The one feature about tank destroyers, I think they were attack 5 and defense 5. I don't have a battle board on me. There was only one set of battle boards, and there was 2 guys that wanted them, so the other guy got to take them back to Pennsylvania, and I don't have any battle boards yet, and so I don't remember what these guys attack and defend at necessarily, but I believe it's 5. So they're attack and defense at 5, and I think I know that they're target selection against armor units, but I'm just not sure if it's 1 or 1 and 2. I think it's like a 1 and 2, like so a 2 or less. You would fire and choose a tank. So these things would be pretty valuable. If the other guy, if your opponent, like say if you were fighting on the Eastern Front and they had developed heavy armor and he wanted a way to get those big ass tanks out of there, these things would be a good way to go, because if you did happen to roll those low numbers, say goodbye to that heavy armor instead of a dude, right? So yeah, tank destroyers, and like I said, these are all available already. Self-propelled artillery, same thing. You can get these self-propelled artillery already, and what these things, they're exactly the same as your artillery, except for they go 2 spaces. That's the only difference with the self-propelled artillery. So here's 3 examples of self-propelled artillery here, and you have self-propelled artillery in plastic available from all the nations, except Russia. But I told you about the mold that Doug has and he's making for 36. I believe he has something in the works to make a Russian set of units as well. And it'd be a good bet that self-propelled artillery would be in that, since there already isn't one there. So anyway, then you'll have self-propelled artillery, and they won't cost a lot of money. Like you've bought stuff from Shapeways before, and so you know how much their plastic is. I think it's like 5 units for $3.45 or something like that. So that's a lot cheaper than one of these tank destroyers for twice that much, right? Or so, you know, like they all cost different, right? Next thing, heavy battleships. Now that is one of the things that's going to be in the mold. So these are battleships here. So there's going to be 3 sizes of battleships in the Global War 36 game. There's going to be heavy battleships, there's going to be fast battleships, and then there's your regular battleships, right? So he's going to make a mold, and what'll happen is he'll do 8 colors of the same ship. So you're not going to get country-specific ships, but he's just choosing one ship. And in this case of the heavy battleships, what I believe he's going to choose, or what he's got now, and subject to change, like I said, everything is, but what he's decided right now is that he's going to use this one. This is the Iowa class battleship. It's an American one, and I hope that it's going to be slightly bigger than the regular battleships here, because mine are slightly bigger than them now, and I tell you, it's really easy to identify them, the fact that they're a little bit larger than the other ones. So that will be one of the things that's in the mold. You can get an Iowa class battleship in 8 different colors, so that'll be a lot cheaper than going to Shapeways, right? All of these things here are from Shapeways, and so they're a lot of money. Actually, this one I got from the Historical Board Gaming site. This is the H-44. It's just a behemoth. That's the German battleship. This one here is the H-39, and I thought that I would make this into a fast battleship because I've already got a German heavy battleship, right? Now, you're probably not going to use a lot of these things in the game. Let me just show you something over here. Like you're thinking, oh geez, I need 8 different colors in there. I don't think they're going to develop one for the Russians. Like take a look down here at heavy battleships. You're going to have to develop that technology first, right? So you need to roll a 10 first. Then you need to roll a 9. Then you need to roll an 8 and an 8. Now Japan's already got the heavy lifting out of the way. They've got their 10 and 9. So they've only need to put down 2 8s, and then they've got it, right? And the Americans and the Germans, they've already got the 10 out of the way. But I mean, that's going to be difficult to develop that one. Not like you know, like you see advanced artillery and advanced mix. You start and you finish all on 7s up there, right? So this one's going to be much harder to get down here. So you're not going to see a lot of heavy battleships in the game. Fast battleships, I believe you'll just be able to buy. Now, fast battleships are going to be probably the same stats as a regular battleship. The only difference is that the fast battleship will go 3 spaces. This is without any help from any type of naval base, right? Whereas the regular battleships, they only go 2. And if you played this game before, you know how difficult that is, because the battleships and the what are they? The transports, they only go 2, and most of the other ships go 3, right? So you've got your ships, either these ones are slowing down for these ones, or these ones, you know, like you can't move them uniformly like you do in Axis and Allies, right? Like it's so these things are going to be pretty darn handy if you can move those the extra space. And I've already selected another color. I'm running out of colors to paint my ships here, the ends of them like this. I've got orange because I didn't have orange on my board yet. So this here is, these are both 3D printed. This is the H-39 and this is the Vanguard. The Vanguard was the last battleship ever built. So that one will probably be like I'm either going to use it for my heavy and then get some King George V battleship, which is their plastic one that they have, and use that as a fast battleship, and then just use the Axis and Allies battleship as my regular battleship. Or maybe I'll buy the Iowa class, that plastic one, and keep this one as a fast battleship, because this one was both fast and heavy. Like it was, like I said, it was the last battleship ever built. So, you know, like I've got those options there, and you're going to have options as well. If you've got lots of money and your wife doesn't give a good throat punch and you know the stars line up for you, then sure, go out and buy all the different country specific ships and things and stuff. And if you don't, then no problem. Doug's making all making this game easier to get into, because he's making all the units in plastic. So that is awesome. That was the best news that I heard when I was down in Tulsa. This was Sunday we were talking about this. After everybody else had left, I was the only one left, and he was telling me about this, and I thought, wow, that's great. People are going to love this. So there's the heavy battleships. And then heavy carriers. Let's just walk down to this end of the board over here. Now, I had already started building my heavy carriers because I knew that that was going to be in the game. So these are all 3D printed carriers here. Actually, this one is too. This was one they used to sell, but it's been out of stock forever. This is the Malta. So these ones here, like I said, you can go out and you can spend a ton of money at Shapeways and get yourself some bigger carriers, or you can wait, because he's going to have the Malta here. I'm hoping again that he's going to make it slightly larger than your regular fleet carriers, and that carrier will be done in 8 different colors. So you'll be able to stock all your fleets with a heavy carrier. If you want country specific, then you're going to have to pay for it, right? And they're available. You can go get them, but this will make it easier to play the game if you can do it like that. With the plastic. Plastic is way cheaper than 3D printed. And you know, the feature about these heavy carriers is they will be carrying 3 planes instead of 2. So you look over here on the thing here, and again, going to be tough to get. Only America has the 10 down, right? Then they got 999 left. So for anybody else to develop these, that's going to be really difficult. 1099. So it's going to be tough for you to get those carriers, or if you're any other nation, and even America is going to be hard to get them. So there you go. Coastal defense ships. Now this is something that is brand new, and he's going to make these as well. But you can if you've bought the set before, like the Allied or like the British set or the American set, you know, it comes with planes and small carriers, and you know, like what do they have in there? Airborne and tank destroyers. You know the set I'm talking about. It's on sale right now. So they had these type of ships in them. Now what the coastal defense ship is, it's going to be like your torpedo boat destroyer or your coastal sub, in that it is a ship that is left over from World War I. Now there's only, if I remember correctly, and this could change too, because he'd only tried this once, and that's when we were there. But in the original setup, there's going to be about 7 or 8 of these things, coastal defense ships. What they were really old battleships, right? And they're not going to be as powerful as a regular battleship. You're not going to be able to purchase these in the game. These, like I said, are going to be like the other ones. They're just left over. So you can use these old ones if you have them, or you can buy them. They still sell them. Or, again, that's going to be part of the new units that Doug makes, a new set of units. And it's going to be the Norge. It's a Norway battleship. Again, done in 8 different colors. Now, this is the Allied ones. Like here is, what is that? Is that gray? I can't tell. I don't have my glasses on. It looks great. But anyway, like you can get these in all the Allied colors already. Like here's the French one. But there is also an old German battleship already on this site as well. And there's an old Japanese battleship on the site that you can get if you wanted to. Like those things are already there, right? Anyway, so, and I was showing you the battleship there. This is interesting. I talked about this in previous videos, this Yamato here. This is the Super Yamato that I'm using for the Yamato. And Doug said, you know, the Yamato that I have is the same size as this one. And like I was used to the Axis and Allies Yamato, right? This is the size of these ships over here. I said, no way. And so we go over to where all the units are, and he pulls them out of a couple of different containers, like this where the 3D printed ones are, and the other one where the Japanese stuff is. And sure enough, this is exactly the same size as the Yamato that he sells. So you don't have to buy the Iowa for the Japanese if you don't want. You could actually just buy his Yamato. And then you could buy, this is the, what's that called? The Nagato battleship. That could be your regular battleship. And then it leaves you with the Axis and Allies one. I don't know if he's going to put a fast battleship in there. I thought that we had talked about that, but I don't see it here in the list of stuff that's going down in the mold. But there could be a fast battleship in there too. I don't know. There's still a few slots left. Like I guess when you do a mold, there's 20 slots, so you can make 20 different units, and some of them you double up on. Like heavy bombers, he's got 2 spaces in his mold for that, and armored trains, that's another one that's going to be that I haven't told you about yet. There's going to be 2 molds for the armored train. So he's got 20 slots, and he's still got a few left over to fill. So who knows, there might be a fast battleship in there as well. So the next one is battle cruisers. Now here's the battle cruisers, and I kind of touched on those earlier. I love the idea of battle cruisers in this game. They're regular cruisers in this game, which are actually heavy cruisers. They're classified as heavy cruisers. They are attack 6 and defense 6, right? So now there's 3 classes of cruisers. There's heavy, light, which would be these ones over here. Those are the light. We'll get to those in a minute. But these are battle cruisers. So these are the biggest ones. Now, these 2 here, these ones here were from Historical Board Gaming site. All of these ones back here. This one is from a different developer on Shapeways. And you can see it's a little bit smaller. I was kind of disappointed when I got that one. This is the America one. This is the Alaska class battle cruiser. Now, this is the one that Doug has chosen to make the mold of and do it in 8 different colors. So you'll be able to get this one in plastic, but hopefully it'll be slightly larger than those, or slightly larger than the regular cruiser, I mean, which is a heavy cruiser. But these 2 here, these were examples of 2 modern battle cruisers. What the rest were, where the battle cruiser came from, there was a treaty that was signed after the First World War to limit the production of battleships, because they figured battleships, that's the ultimate weapon on the sea. That was dispelled quite soundly in World War II. It was the carrier that emerged as the king of the sea. But back then they thought it was the battleship. And so the treaty was limiting all nations from building battleships. So what people did was they built battle cruisers. Basically, they were the same big guns as you find on a battleship, but with less armor. And so they were faster than battleships, right? Until the late model battleships, they started building with better propulsion. So that's where you got the fast battleships from. But the Congo and the Alaska class, they were not built until World War II. So they were battle cruisers as well. But they weren't really like these ones, even though they're going to be the same stats. These ones were referred to as cruiser killers. These ones were there to hunt cruisers. Cruisers were much more effective in World War II than battleships were. And so these things were specifically designed to hunt cruisers. They had the speed of a cruiser, but the guns of a battleship on them. So anyway, it's going to be this one here. It's the Alaska class that it looks like Doug's going to go with. To make into a plastic mold and put in 8 different colors. So what's next? Light cruisers. So down here. Now, I don't see light cruisers on the list of stuff that's going in the mold. There was only 3 of them on the site. So there's a Japanese one, a German one, and an American one that you can already buy, right? This one here, the British one, this was a 3D printed one that he hasn't had in stock for quite a while. So I don't know if he's going to put out another light cruiser as like more plastic light cruisers. I just don't know that. It could be that in the war not many people had light cruisers. Anyway, I don't have any more information on that than that right now. Like I was saying though, the heavy cruiser was a 6 attack and defense. It needs to be a 5 at attack and defense, and the battle cruisers at a 7 attack and defense. So 3 classes of cruisers and 3 different things that they're going to roll at. Another thing I showed you, if you were watching yesterday's video, where we had some jungle, right? So here's jungle, 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 right? And there's some jungle in South America as well. I think there's a little bit in Africa. Oh yeah, I can see some. Yeah, there's some in Africa as well. So these guys here are the Gurkhas. These are FEC Gurkhas. And they're new in the game. These are not going in the mold. These are just 3D, or not 3D. These are custom infantry that I bought. I think these are, what are they? Airfix. Airfix is not a really good brand of custom infantry. The plastic is really soft, and so the paint doesn't stick very well. For some reason, they stuck very well to these guys here. Now, I was using these guys for my FEC, just regular infantry, right? And so what I'm going to do, I'll probably just paint the bases red, because there's not a huge difference in looks between these guys and the British guys, and I know that because people who have played on my table keep throwing them in the British box. So there you go, right? So I'm just going to paint the bases of these red, and they will be Gurkhas like they're here. And what they were where were they from? Up here, Tibet. They were Tibetan soldiers. And so very good in rough terrain is what they were. So they will be able to fight in jungle better, as opposed to regular infantry. So if I remember when I was talking about that yesterday, so Japanese infantry and Marines and FEC Gurkha are the only things that fight very well in the jungle. Anyway, so that's a new unit. And probably what's going to happen there, I'm guessing, is you'll just buy the chips. Like there's already chips that say Gurkhas on them. I don't believe that there's going to be a mold for them. You'll probably just buy the chips and put them under a British infantry, and that'll be your Gurkha. And then the last thing that's going into the game that I know about is, and I'm really excited about this because I like to kill submarines, is these things here, seaplanes. Now these are, I've been collecting seaplanes and I haven't used them, but I've been collecting them for a couple of years now because I really like seaplanes. These are all 3D printed except for this one. This one comes from the America game. This is from the Bring in the Heavy set, the Japanese set. But the rest of them are all 3D printed, right? And so, again, lots of money to buy these things. But they're going to, Doug's going to put them into that mold. So you'll be able to buy plastic seaplanes, and they will be this one here, the PBY Catalina. That's the American one. So, and the winner is the PBY Catalina. So anyway, this will be printed in 8 different colors, so your seaplanes will be cheap to buy, right? That's awesome. And the other good thing is that they'll all be the same size. You look at these things and they're different sizes, and like these isn't even all the ones I have. There's some of them that are other ones that are different sizes than those ones, the Italian ones or whatever, right? So anyway, so those are the ones that are introduced into the game. But other things that are going into the mold, now there's an airship. It's a blimp, right? And so I think that's going to be for spotting subs and maybe even for fighting subs. I'm not sure, but it's going to be the K-blimp, which was an American unit as well. So that's going to be done in plastic. And what did I do with my artillery? I can't find it. Anyway, another thing that he's putting down is heavy artillery. So if you remember the American one, here, let me just grab one, since I can't seem to find the one I thought I had out. It'll be kind of like this one here, this artillery piece right here, except for it'll be, the gun's going to be bigger than that. Like this is 155 millimeter gun or something like that, and the one that he's using is 240 millimeter gun. So it's gonna, and again, it's gonna be done in 8 colors, so you'll be able to buy heavy artillery. And what else? Well, I guess advanced artillery, but that's the same thing as heavy artillery. So he's also doing an advanced submarine, and it'll be the Nautilus submarine from the USA. So because right now the only advanced sub that you can find in plastic is the German one and the Japanese one, or at least they got different sculpts for them anyway. Those are the ones that I've been using. I don't know if they're advanced or not, but there's different sculpts for those, but that's the only ones that you can find on their site. So again, you're having to go to 3D printed if you want some kind of advanced submarine. But he's gonna do the Nautilus advanced submarine in 8 different colors, so that you've got that. Heavy bombers. This isn't the heavy bomber that he's using. I was just showing you, like you can find heavy bombers. Like this is from the America set, from the Bring in the Heavy set. I really like this one, so I'm still going to use that one. But anyway, he's going to have a B-29. If you want to know what the B-29 looks like, you can go to the 3D printed units on the Shapeways site and go to America and the American section, and it'll be in the Going Nuclear. It's a B-29. So that is going to do in plastic and in 8 different colors. So you will have a heavy bomber that you can use. And the cool thing about it's kind of neat to be able to get all the different units like this, like I've done with the battle cruisers. But the neat thing about getting the same unit in 8 different colors is you don't have to think about it anymore, too much. You just know, okay, that's a heavy bomber. That's advanced artillery. All these things, if they look the same but they're just different colors, it's kind of like playing Axis and Allies, right? Like they're all the same unit, they're just different colors. So it'll be easier to play that way. And in this game where there's so many different units, it'd be nice to be able to have that option of some of them being the same, so that you can identify them easily. Let me just look here. There's only 2 more left. So I kind of mentioned this earlier. So here you have your armored train markers, right? And like you've got all kinds of, there's the artillery, flat, anti-aircraft, assault. So if you've ever played with the armored train set, then you've got those. Well, what he's going to do is he's going to make a little locomotive, right? A little 3D locomotive in plastic. And so what you would do, instead of having this on top of there, you'd put that 3D locomotive, or it might not have anything under it. It might just be the train sculpt. But like if you wanted these other cars on it, then you would just put these under it. Like let's say you just had artillery, then you put the 3D sculpt on top of here, the plastic sculpt on top of there, right? Or you could have all of them and put the plastic sculpt on there. That's a pretty big train though. I mean, that's a lot of money to be spending on a train in this game. But anyway, that's kind of cool that he's going to have a little train for the game. And what else? There's one more thing. Oh yeah. So I had this this really cool 3D printed Asama Maru transport, right, from Japan, and I said, it'd be wicked if we had a transport, like a better transport, so something that you could develop, on a chart over there. And he said he'd been thinking about the same thing. So this is kind of a pipe dream right now. This is not in the rules, but it's possible that I think he's going to put one in the mold anyway, and it's going to be the Haskell class of, it's going to be called an attack transport. Now, I'm not sure, like he's going to do some research, probably what'll happen, it'll have a defense of 1. You know, that's just an obvious thing. You know, that's how you could upscale one of your transports. The other thing is maybe it could carry 3 units, right? Instead of 2. We don't know. Don't know if it's going to be in the game. It could be just something that you could buy on the side and say, okay, I'm putting these in my game. You know what I mean? But anyway, again, 8 different colors, and it's called an attack transport. Don't know if it's going to be part of the rules of the game or not. But I think he sold on the idea. I think he sold himself on the idea of having this unit called an attack transport. So don't take my word for it that it's going to be in the game or not. But it's a cool idea because there's really nothing been done to transports in this game over the years, except for taking away that 1 on defense, right? Anyway, so the last thing is that I want to mention to you is coasters. Now, you've probably got coasters, all the coasters for your World War II games, right? This game and Axis and Allies. And these are great. Like, you've seen me play, and I put my poker chips on them. And, you know, I put my units on them when I'm buying. So, like here, you can fit them, and I'm going to buy some Gurkhas, and I'm going to buy, like, you know. So you've got room on there. That's your little place, and you know, okay, that's France, right? And so you get them all on your board and everything, and that's great. Now, what he's coming out with next, and soon he says, is the World War I coaster. So all 8 nations that are from the 1914 game will be coming out, and I'm really excited about that because that includes Turkey. It'll be nice to have a Turkey roundel because Turkey, if you're playing the Turkish set in this game, can be a playable nation, right? Like, it's got its own card and everything. So it'd be nice to have a Turkey roundel. And he's also, even though it's not part of World War I, he's going to do a Dutch roundel. So that'll be nice to have the Turkey roundel and the Dutch roundel for this game. And for the 1914 game, it'll be nice to have all of the roundels. And speaking of turkey, I like turkey. It's one of my favorite foods. Actually, not really, but I do like turkey. What I like more than anything is a turkey dinner. I like gravy, okay? So, time for the contest. Now, as I was telling you in yesterday's video, Doug sent home with me a bunch of prizes. So, we're going to give away another prize in this video. And this one, like, later today, I'll be cutting off the contest that started yesterday. So that was a rapid fire one. I think I'll let this one go till Tuesday when I get home from work. I'm working day shift this week, so Tuesday night I'll come home and I'll have my dinner and everything, and then after dinner I'm going to take all the comments that are in the box or that are in the below this video. If you say you're wanting to enter the contest, or unless you say you don't want to enter the contest, I'll assume that you're in. And you can leave me a comment. Leave me a comment on these units. Tell me what you think about doing the plastic molds for these, and you know, is there a unit you'd like to see in the game that is only available now in as a 3D printed unit? I don't know. Like, I'm not telling you Doug's gonna make them. You know, he gets to decide what he makes, right? So I'm just saying, like, if you have an idea of one that you would like to put out, then make a comment, you know. So what's the prize today? Well, I'm going to give you a choice, and this is all about 1936 today. So I was talking about Turkey and the new Turkey roundel or coaster coming out. The new Turkey, or the Turkey at War set. So you'll get either this one, you can choose, okay? Or the partisan set. Now this is the full partisan set. There's lots of partisans in there. Both of these sets are quite a bit of money on historicalboardgaming.com. So I'm just going to let you choose between them rather than giving you both like I did yesterday. One of them was a lot cheaper yesterday, so that's why I gave both away. But anyway, you choose between one or the other, whoever wins. So when I pull the name out of the hat and you contact me or I contact you or whatever, then you can tell me, do you want the partisans or do you want Turkey at War? So anyway, that is the contest. Leave a comment below, and good luck to you all. And thank you, Mr. Doug Friend, for these prizes, and they're brought to you by him and by yours truly, General Hand Grenade, because I'll be paying the shipping costs. So that's all we got for you today, folks. Take care. General Hand Grenade out.